Hi everyone, it's Bank Holiday Monday Pilates time and I hope you've all had a really good weekend so far. Thank you for joining me today. I'm really happy that you have and I'm really looking forward to today's Pilates class. So equipment wise, we do need our mat, we need our cushions for when we're going into our lying down work, and also you're going to need a band today. You could also have a pair of hand weights or some cans or a couple of bottles of water if you want to add on a little bit more resistance and challenge to some of the exercises. Okay, so today we are going to be starting in our standing correctly position. Some of these standing exercises can be done sitting down. So if you find that you're getting a bit dizzy or you just want to take a break for your legs, you can sit down. And as always, please do listen to your body. Don't do anything that doesn't feel right for you and move to your own mobility patterns. In just 1 second, I'm going to make it a little bit more light in here and hopefully that'll look a bit better. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start by standing with our feet together today. So we're just going to practice standing in Pilates stance. So for Pilates stance, we stand with our feet together, heels together, and then take your toes out so that they're about 30 degrees. So not 90, not 45, about 30. So it's quite precise. So we've got a really small base of support today. And that's just going to challenge us a little bit more and make some of these exercises that we find really familiar a lot more unfamiliar, hence that we have to think about them a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to start with our arms nice and long down by our sides and feel how the weight goes down through this really small base of support. So we have the base of our heels, base of our big toe and the base of our little toe, and weight going down evenly through your left and your right. And start breathing in and out here, nice and deeply. So weight going down evenly. You just rock forwards and backwards slightly as well. Just feel how your leg muscles, your glutes and your core just responds to this rocking motion. So rocking backwards and forwards a few times. Good. And then standing somewhere halfway in between, toe muscles coming in, glutes engaged, and checking that your hips are balanced over your ankles. You're not pushing them forward or back. Rib cage balance on top. You're not sticking that forward or leaning over. And your arms are hanging down by your sides, really long. Piece of thread coming through the crown of your head. So you're lifting it towards the ceiling. Back of neck, really long here. So we're going to start with a side reach standing. So we're going to breathe in. And as we breathe out, let's start reaching through one arm, lifting it all the way up to the ceiling, and then lifting up and over, keeping your hips completely still and lengthening out to the side of your waist. So you're really long through one side, little tilt of the head so you're evenly flexed. Press back through and float your arm down. So because we have a smaller base of support, you're going to have to use those toe muscles a little bit harder to keep stable. So breathing out to lift up and over, breathing in to restack and float our arm down. So we're doing our side reach standing in Pilates stance. Use your glutes and make sure they're supporting you. And go again, breathing out. All the way up and over as you breathe out. Restacking and down. And again, breathing out. All the way up and over. Lovely long side. You might find that you can go further to one side than the other. And we're timing the movement with our breath. So as we breathe out, it gives us more space because our rib cage comes down and we can really engage these core muscles and bring them in to support us as we go up and over. Nice and long. We're going to go one more time to each side. Be careful what's going on with your hips again. Make sure you're not pushing them forward. And we have our final one all the way up and over. And come into our normal standing position. Once again, we're going to go into our side twist. So bring your arms up into Cossack position, one arm resting on top of the other, and make sure your elbows are at shoulder height. Keep your shoulders melting down your spine. Keep your toe muscles pointing forward, breathing in here. As we breathe out, let's start turning one head to the side, one head, our head even, and rotating around. Keep your hips facing forward. Don't worry if you feel tight to start with. The first rotation often does whilst our muscles warm up. The most important thing is to not push it, okay? So if you feel that you're going further and letting your hips float, that's not rotation through your spine. You're then going to be twisting your ankles and your knees. So keep the lower part of your body completely still and make sure you're twisting at that waist. So breathing out to twist, in to return, out to twist, in to return. Lovely, and going again, nice and slow. We're going to swap our arms over and go again. Breathing out, hips remaining still, coming back in. Lovely. And again, a couple more times, and already you might be feeling that this is getting really smooth. So we're getting that beautiful rotation through our spine, keeping your core muscles coming in. This is our last one to the side. Come back through to center, bring your arms down. And we're going to go into a nice shoulder twist now. Okay, so let's take our feet back to hip distance apart. So in a hip distance apart, it might feel slightly different now because you've been standing in Pilates stance, but we're going to be going into our single leg standing. I know it is not a favorite for many of you, so it's really important that we keep our balance going. So lengthen your foot on the floor. Breathing in, breathing out, try to keep your hips nice and level as you float your knee up, knee coming to about hip height and lower down. Okay, going on the other side. So if you have a top on that is slightly wonky, it can be quite annoying because it makes that your pelvis look like it is wobbling. So we're going to breathe out, breathe in to come down. Good. So keeping your toe muscles coming in all the time and making sure again that you don't lose that neutral spine and pelvis. So showing you from the side, it's really easy to tuck your lumbar spine in, tuck your tailbone. We're going to keep tummy muscles strong, supporting our spine, working on your balance. Keep your gaze going somewhere in front of you, okay? So breathing out and in. Good, nice and slowly. And you might feel already that you're a lot better with your balance just after a few repetitions. So breathing out and in, good. And whoa, out and in. Good. Nice and slowly. And our last time before we make it a little bit more tricky, okay? So this time we're going to add in that waist twist with that standing on one leg. So feet balanced, arms coming up, okay? So if you want to, you can practice a small waist twist now, just so that you remember what it feels like in your body. We're going to breathe in. Breathing out, start twisting to the side. Come back through, hips remain pointing forward. Okay, now we're going to bring one leg knee up. Balance it, breathe out to twist, in to return, out to twist, in to return. Okay, so try to do a few times on each leg. Try to keep your balance going so those muscles in you really working hard here as you twist. Good, remember to turn your head as you go. Bring that leg down. We're going to go on the opposite side now. So you might find that one leg is a lot easier than the other, but also because of the position of your hips and your legs, you're not going to be able to cheat and turn your hips. Okay, so really getting that waist twist. Keep your shoulders down, relax your jaw, make sure you are not gripping at the floor with your toes. And if you're on a big thick mat, you might find it easier to come off the mat and stand on the carpet or on a wood floor, just like I'm doing. Although I mainly got rid of the mat because it really annoys me that it ruches up every single time. Okay, coming back to center, we're going to go again on the other leg. So if you need to, just walk your legs out, getting a little bit of blood flowing into them. And we're going to go again. So bringing that knee up, rotating to the side and back. Lovely twist round and back. Super. Feeling your ankle. Working hard. So let's see if we do 2 more without putting our foot down. And again to the other side. Super. One last time. Rotating and back. Rotating and back. Bring that foot down. Let's go on the other leg again. So we're doing it multiple times a day, really building on that strength. And also by repeating it, you find that you get a bit more familiar with the movement. And bit by bit, it should get a lot easier. Now I can feel it on my left side. It's a lot harder. Okay, so keep your jaw down, jaw relaxed, shoulders down. Gaze going forward. Try not to drop your chin. Lengthen up through the crown of your head as well. That's going to give you more space in your spine. Keep these tummy muscles coming in. Super. Good. One more time to each side. Back through to center. Bring that leg down. Give yourself a bit of a walkout. Well done. All right, moving into some gorgeous hip hinges now. We're going to get some lovely movement and strength through our quads, glutes, and core. So when we do our hip hinges, we really have to activate this core set of muscles so that we're protecting our spine. That's going to help prevent injury, help strengthen it so when you're doing everyday tasks like cleaning the bath or picking up shopping bags or trying to lift something really heavy out of a lower cupboard, you're really going to help activate this core and strengthen it. So standing with your feet back to hip distance apart. It's a bit similar to a Pilates squat, but we hinge a lot more at our waist. So we're going to keep the back of our neck nice and long. Lengthen your shoulders down. Keep your arms heavy. Then as we breathe out, we're going to send our knees forward, but really try and lengthen our spine down until it is almost parallel with the floor, okay? So you might feel like you're sticking your bottom out. You might even feel a stretch along your hamstrings. And then lengthen back up. So you're going to have to do a little bit of a knee fold. So hinging here, trying to maintain the neutral lines of your spine. Okay, so I'm not tucking my pelvis underneath me. Maintain that little curve in my lumbar spine here. Good. Coming up again. So breathing out, toe muscles activating, bending slightly at the knees and trying to get your spine parallel to the floor. Now, if you have a mirror, it's really handy to be able to see because sometimes what you think is parallel is not parallel at all. We're going to go down again. Tummy muscles coming in. Remember, it's really important to bring your tummy button up to your spine. Hang your arms long. Feel that strength through your glutes and your quads as well. I'm going to do 12 of these today. So in these online classes, we've been doing about 9 repetitions, sometimes 6. So then we're going to go the whole hog and do 12 if I can count that high. Or I could count like my nephew counts, which is 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 9, 11, 20. Always good. And coming up. Okay, so when you come up, really try and fully extend. You're standing up, really long piece of thread coming through the crown of your head, arms hanging nice and long and heavy. So we're trying to complete each movement and do them slowly as well. So because I say 12, don't try and rush through them. Try and perform every single one as cleanly and crisply as possible. So tummy muscles coming in here, arms heavy, standing up, and we have one more. Hinging forward and standing all the way back up. Good. Give your legs a little bit of a kick. And we're going to go into that hinge and a step backwards. Okay. So we are coming down on the out breath, still breathing out. Keep your body still. And then see if you can just touch one foot back. Okay. Keeping the lines of your body still. Touch the other foot back. Working on our balance and our alignment now, okay? And coming up. So let's go again. It's a little bit tricky. You might feel that you're really rocking around all over the place. So keep those core muscles coming in and keep breathing, okay? So breathing in, breathing out, hinge here. Pause. Inhale to slide one leg back. Come through. So it's a hinge and a step back. Come back through. And all the way up. So when we go into that step back, I'd really like you to try and extend through that line. Fully step that leg back rather than it being a half-hearted tap. and take it as slow as you need. So just to get that control and that precision, don't rush through it. Step as small, as slowly as you need to. That's what I'm trying to say. So coming down, bottom muscles on, curve through your spine, step back. That wasn't the best example, but you can see I've really extended that leg, okay? Front foot is really long on the floor and my knee is straight over my second toe. Coming back. So again, we're working on our alignment, our strength, and our precision of movement, and combining this with the breath and coordination. So breathing out again, breathing in, fully step back. Heel is still on the back foot. On the other side, you're going to have to shift your weight slightly from side to side. And we're going to do one last one. Let's see if we can take the other opposite leg back this time first. Hinging down, stepping back, really long toes. And again on the other side, coming back, pressing through and walking through your feet. Well done. Okay, so we're going to get a bit more movement in our shoulders now, especially after all of that movement where we've been bending forward. We're going to do some simple arm circles before moving into pole raises. So we need to have our bands handy. So standing, feet hip distance apart. Remember all those cues for standing correctly. Weight even, hips balanced, core muscles coming in, arms lengthen down. All right, let's breathe in. Breathe out, float your arms up, toe muscles coming in. Reaching to the sides and down. Okay, so we're just getting that lovely open movement through the front of our spine and our chest. And again, breathing out, toe muscles coming in. Don't push your hips forward, keep your chin up. Really think about the circumduction of the shoulder. So that circumduction is where that humerus rolls round in the shoulder joint. So going again, reaching all the way up, round and down. And again, round and down. And we're going to go the opposite way now. So breathing in and breathing out, reaching your arms all the way up, forward and down. Okay, so as you reach out, imagine you're pushing a big weight of water up above you. And then as you come down, you're shooting your arms down through that same body of water. Good, really nice to open out the shoulders. Fantastic for your posture and for the strength of them as well. All the way up, forward and down. Awesome. Okay, let's get our bands. So placing the band between your hands. We need to have enough slack so that we can take the band up and behind us. Now remember, if you don't have a band, you can use a pair of tights. You can use a stretchy bungee jump band thing, or you can even do it without a band at all. It just helps to have that little bit of resistance there, and also the band is really going to help you with your alignment. So feet back to hip distance apart, bands in your hand with a little bit of slack in between. You're probably going to have to alter it after the first one. Just use it so that you know where you are in space to start with. So breathing in and breathing out. Let's float our arms all the way up in direct alignment with our shoulders. Take your arms back behind your ears if you can. Now I'll give you an adaptation if you're uncomfortable with your shoulders here. And then we're going to breathe in, pull that band apart. And if you can, take that band to shoulder height, great. If you can take it further down, fantastic. And then we're going to pull all the way back up and float our arms down in front. Okay, so you can really adapt this movement to suit you. If you have shoulder issues, you can stick with a simple floating arms in front of you. So have a little bit of resistance in that band and float up and down. So you can see I've got tension in that band. I'm almost pulling it apart. So breathing out and in. So this is our option number one. If it is painful for you to go all the way up so that your arms are level with your ears, you can pause wherever you need to. Okay, so just see what suits you. Coming down. Okay, our second option, we're going to go into that shoulder distance pole raise. So a little bit of slack, feet hip distance apart, breathing in, breathing out. Let's float our arms up in alignment with our shoulders. And pull that band apart on the inhale so that it's level with our shoulders. Coming all the way back up on the exhale, whoa, and coming back down. Okay, so with that band, you really need to control it, especially when you come back up. This band is wanting you to snap back. So you really need to resist it. So it's excellent for your shoulder and your arm strength. I really need to have stickers all over me saying which body part is which, I think. So let's go again, breathing in, breathing out, arms going all the way up. Inhale to pull. Now you can see the band wants me to snap my wrists back and snap my arms back. So I'm going to take it all the way back up to the top with control, forward and down. Okay, so showing from the side, we're going to come all the way up, pull that band apart to shoulder height. Try not to let your hips travel forward, all the way back up, forward and down. Okay, so let's do one more like that. Breathing in, breathing out all the way up, and pull apart. All the way back up, forward and down. And then we have our final option. And this is for all of you who have really good shoulder mobility, because you're going to need a lot of strength as well. So by all means, try it. If it's not for you, stick with either the raise or that shoulder height one. And we're going to go into our waist height pole raises. So this time we breathe in, breathe out, bring that band up, take that band apart and keep on traveling down. So your arms are behind the line of your body. And then you're going to try and pull that band back apart, controlling it as it pings back in and down again. Okay, so it's a lot more mobility through your shoulders, and you also have to use your strength to resist that band as it springs back together. So going again, all the way up and down, back up, forward and down, and our last one here, all the way up and apart. Forward and down. Well done. Okay, we're going to do one more for luck here. Breathing in and breathing out. Remember, your weight going down evenly through both of your feet. Don't know if you can hear that, but here's my shoulder cracking. It's not a good advertisement, but it's nice to know that we all have aches and pains going on somewhere. And then walking through your feet, holding the band in one hand whilst we practice our dumb waiter, and then we're going to add in the band. So feet hip distance apart, elbows bent, forearms vertical, forearms parallel with the floor, upper arms vertical. We're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, rotate your shoulder. So your elbows remain by your waist. You're opening your arms out, coming back in. Breathing out and back in. Out and in. So we're getting some beautiful rotation of the humerus in the shoulder joint. It's really great, again, for your posture, because by doing this, you can feel these shoulder muscles between your shoulder blades switch on. And those are some of the muscles that help you to keep a really lovely open posture, which is also going to help prevent any backache and pain, as well as being nicer to stand upright. Good. And one more, opening out and back through. Okay, so let's add in the band now, placing that band across your hands. Nice and wide. Let's take it across our palms, anchor it there with your thumbs. Make sure you have enough slack that you can do the exercise without having to yank it apart. Okay, so it's not about how much resistance there is, it's about keeping that really good alignment and just adding on that bit of challenge. So palms up and forward, breathing in, breathing out, opening up. And you might feel the biceps and triceps switch on here. So going again, breathing out, opening up and in. So showing you from the side, keeping my body really tall, breathing out, keeping my elbows into my waist, trying not to let them come out, keeping gaze going forward as well. Long back of neck. And again, back through. Two more like this, opening out and in, and our final one, opening out and in, and bring our arms down. I'm going to use the band again, so it's a very band heavy class today, which is always nice. So this one, we're going to do a band step up and down. So it's one that we did a long time ago in our face-to-face classes, but we've not done it many times. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get yourself in the right position. So what we're going to do is stand on the band and then gather the band up in each hand, so that when your hands are by your hips, you really feel that your arms are working and you're kind of wanting to flex forward. Okay, so we're going to bring that knee up. So I'll show you from the side, it's a bit easier. Keeping that lovely neutral posture, you bring your knee up in front of you and then press down on the band. So you need to have enough resistance that when you press down, it feels like you're really stepping against resistance. So core muscles coming in, try to keep your hips level. Don't let your pelvis tilt underneath you. Bring that knee up, pressing down, okay? So we're going to do 8 times on each leg. So we're also working on our balance as well as really activating those leg muscles. So pressing down, fully extending that leg when it reaches the floor. Trying to resist the band as it pulls your knee up, pressing down. So I'm going to just show you what happens if I don't try and work against the band. If I try and bring my knee up, it just kind of pings up like that, okay? So you need to activate your muscles to avoid that happening. So you breathe out, knee coming up, breathe in, pressing down. Breathe out, knee coming up, toe muscles coming in as you bring that knee up. Having your hands on your hips is just great to give you a bit of a framework at the top of your body and make sure you know that you're in the right position as well. And down, good. 2 more like this. Pressing down and up and down, good, and up. Right, we're going to swap that band over, do exactly the same on the other side, and also just be aware that it might feel different from one leg to the other. So feet back to hip distance apart, feet are parallel, gaze going forward, hands on your hips, band underneath your foot, breathing in, breathing out. Guide that knee up with control and press back down. So another great one because you can really vary the resistance of the band. So if you want to make it harder, make the band shorter. For an easier exercise, give yourself a little bit more bands to play with. Pressing down, you really should be able to feel the legs, muscles, and your glutes working, especially as you fully extend your legs. So it's quite tempting to kind of not fully extend. You're really trying to press down, okay? Got 4 more to go. Breathing out and down. So practicing our balance as well. So lots of single leg standing as well today. And 2 more, moving slowly and with control. And our final one, knee coming up and then pressing back down. Release the bands. Give your hands a little bit of a rock out because you've probably been, if you're anything like me, you've probably been squishing that band, so a little bit of tension in your hands. And we're going to go into a Pilates squat now, just to finish off our legs. So knees and feet are in a hip distance apart, so a tiny little bit narrower than usual. We're going to send our bottom back in a Pilates squat at the same time as we bring our arms up, okay? So let's breathe in. Actually, now we're going to move on the breath in. So we breathe in, send our bottoms backwards, okay? Core muscles coming through. Stick your bottom out so that you're maintaining your neutral spine and float your arms up. And coming back up. Okay, so if shoulder mobility prevents you from floating your arms up, you can just bring them up to shoulder height. You don't need to bring them all the way in line with your ears, especially if you're really tight around your shoulders or you've had an injury. So again, work at your own pace. And remember, you can have a rest at any time as well. So we breathe in, bottom goes back, tummy muscles switch on, knees go forward, arms go up, and we come through. So you should be able to feel it's slightly different from a hinge because our body isn't going into a parallel position with the floor. And we've got an equal flexion at our knees and our hips. So we're going to come up again and through. Okay, so watching what's going on with your knees. If you need to, place a cushion between them to give you some feedback. Make sure you're not gripping the floor with your toes. Good. Coming down again. Standing back up. And one more. Sinking down. and standing up. Good. Give your feet a little bit of a rock out. And we're already halfway through the class. So the second half, going to be down on the floor. So I'd like you to come down onto the mat into seated or 4-point kneeling position. Have a drink if you need it. Just to have a couple of breaths rest. And to get ready for the second part of the class. So if you want to, you can do this as 2 sections, or you can have a full hour session, up to you. So just altering the position. Good. Super. Okay, so ready for the second part of our session. We're going to be doing some 4-point kneeling and some pelvic rock backs before coming down onto the mat. So I'd like you to make sure you've got what you need. If you know that you need a little bit more support underneath either your wrists or your knees, you can have a couple of narrow cushions that are just going to give you a little bit of padding. So have those handy. Feel free to sit back at any time, because when we do extended periods in 4-point kneeling, it's a lot of pressure going down through your wrists. So you can create fists. You can alter the position of your hands so you can have them kind of pointing inwards if that's best for you. You can have the cushion on the floor and have your fingers off the edge of the cushion and the ball of your wrist, ball of your hand on the cushion, and that just releases the pressure through that angle. Or again, fists. I think I said that one already. Okay, so we're going to be in 4-point kneeling for our cat first of all. So set yourself up, knees directly beneath your hips, wrists directly beneath your shoulders, and make sure that you have enough space in your spine, okay? It's really easy to have your knees really close to your hands, but I like to take your knees back so you've got a 90-degree angle of your thigh in relation to the mat, okay? So your thigh bones are at the 90 degrees, okay? Hands directly beneath your shoulders, and you should feel really strong through your spine. So you're not slumping down between your shoulder blades, and you're not slumping down in your lumbar spine either, okay? So lift yourself up, press the mat away with your hands, and bring your tummy up to your spine. And then we're going to do a few pelvic tilts to find our neutral position, okay? So what we're going to do is tuck our tailbone underneath and then send it away, okay? So it's the very base of our spine that it's working. So tummy muscles coming in as you tuck and arch away. So tucking, you're not taking that movement up to the top of your spine yet, like we do in cat. We're going to do that next. But this is just so nice to get the mobility around your lumbar spine. So as you tuck your tailbone between your legs, you should feel the lumbar spine lengthen out. And then as you send it back, you're arching through that spine. Okay, so tucking again and away. One more time and come back through. So I'd like you to set yourself up somewhere halfway between. You're not super extending, you're not really tucking, but you're nicely balanced and you feel like you have those same curves in your spine as when you stand up. Okay, so we're going to go into our cat. So all we're going to do is breathe in and breathe out. Do that same pelvic tilt, tuck your tailbone between your legs. Tummy muscles coming up towards your spine, and one bone at a time, we're rippling through our spine. Head coming down, last of all, really long through the back of your neck. And then send yourself back through to an extended cat. So you're really deepening that arch in your spine now. Breastbone going forward. Going again, rolling all the way underneath you. Remember to keep lots of space between your fingers so that you're distributing the weight of your upper body evenly through that hand. Going again, tucking and rolling, mid-back going up towards the ceiling, lengthening your arms away and extending back. Good, going again, rolling and sending away. Good, going a few more times here. And 2 more times. So really enjoying this movement through your spine and getting that mobility through there. Before we start going into the more challenging core exercises in 4-point kneeling. And sending away, good, and coming back through to neutral. If you need to, sit back over your heels, give your wrists a bit of a rest to release any tension you're holding through there. And our next one we're going to be doing is a lateral arm raise. So I'd like you to grab your weights or your water bottles if that's what you're using, and set yourself up once again in 4-point kneeling with those weights to hand. Okay, so in 4-point kneeling, I remembered as well, I forgot to say before, make sure that the centers of your elbows are pointing towards each other rather than forward. Okay, so if you're hypermobile, it's really easy to swivel your arms forward. So we're going to keep nice and strong there. Make sure that the weights are just inside your hands. We're going to do one arm for 6 times before going on to the other arm. So hold that weight in your hand, have the other hand on the floor, and as you breathe out, you're going to try and raise that arm up to shoulder height whilst keeping your shoulders square to the floor. Okay, so pressing the mat away from you. And you're literally just rising the arm up at 90 degrees. Now, throughout this movement, you should really feel these toe muscles switch on, and they're going to support you here, okay? So if you try and do this without much core support, it's actually kind of impossible. You just kind of wobble down. So really strong. Gaze going towards the floor, long back of neck. Breathing out and in. Lovely. Breathing out and in. Feel the muscles along the back of your arm working. And in and come down, and we're going to go on the other side. So 6 on the other side. So getting your weight, breathing in and breathing out to lift. Shoulders remain square to the floor. You're not keeping that shoulder, you're not letting that shoulder float up, and you're not collapsing down towards the mat. So really strong here. Toe muscles switch on as you float up. Remember to keep that arm, the center of the elbow, pointing inwards rather than out, and you might find it easier on one side than the other. So it is a fantastic one because it's weight bearing as well. So even though this arm isn't moving, it's supporting the weight of your entire upper body. So it's fantastic for your bone density and also for strengthening your shoulders, biceps, triceps, and all those muscles in your hand as well. Okay, so final one on this side. And come down, and then we're going to sit back once again and give our wrists a bit of a rest. Well done. So that's a really nice one to try. You can also mix it up by doing a forward lift as well. I'll show you what I mean. So you can breathe out and in, and then go forward with that weight. Breathing out and in. So you're moving your shoulder in a different alignment and getting the muscles working. But again, be careful to keep your shoulders square to the floor. And don't let your shoulder come up around your ear, okay? You're trying to keep it away from your ear so you're really nicely aligned. Okay, so let's pop those weights to the side. And we're going to go into a lovely tabletop one. So this is a great build-up exercise for tabletop 2. So if you're feeling slightly wobbly today, you don't have to go into tabletop 2, basically. So all we're going to do, 4-point kneeling once again. Really, really balanced here. Breathing in to slide opposite arm and leg away. Keeping your fingers and toes in contact with the floor and making sure that you're not rocking through your spine. Drawing in. Okay, so we're going to go on the other side. So reaching away, you slide your arm away in direct alignment with your shoulder and slide your foot away in direct alignment with your hip. Coming back in. So breathing in, breathing out. A great position for getting cramp as well. Really sending it to you. And you're working those muscles through your core. So because you're not letting yourself dip down, you're keeping your shoulders and your pelvis strong. You're keeping really good core strength. Okay, sliding. Make sure that you let your arm and your knee return to the correct position. So especially if you have a mat, it's great because you can usually see the imprint of where you were. I don't know if you saw that, I just let my bottom wobble. So sliding away once again and coming back through. Sliding back through. Good. One more time. Sliding, coming back through, and sit back again. So that was our tabletop 1. We're going to go into our tabletop 2, which is where we're going to add in that lift now. So we have the slide and the lift, come back down and return. So 4-point kneeling once again. We slide on the in-breath and we lengthen up on the exhale. So if you have something handy that you can place on the back of your pelvis, that would be great, because it just gives you a little bit of feedback about where you are in space, and make sure that you've still got your pelvis square to the floor. So we slide on the inhale, exhale, and float your arm and leg up to hip and shoulder height, keeping your spine completely still, reaching through your fingers and toes, bringing them back down, sliding back underneath you. Let's go on the other side. Slide away and float. Back and in. Slide and float. Back and in. Good. And again. Super. So take it nice and slowly. If you need to rest, that's fine. But really make sure that that back leg is extended. You're pointing through your toe. So no bending of the knee. Really long leg. And you should feel that the back of your thighs and your glutes are really working, as well as these muscles here. So, and again, slide and up. Another fantastic one for your weight bearing. Great for your core. And you're moving long levers on your spine as well. So by moving those long levers, you're building up the muscles around your spine and your hips, which again, fantastic for preventing injury and keeping you nice and healthy. Let's do another one on each side. Slide and float. Oh, I nearly fell over. And our last one, slide and float. Back down. Return and send your bottom back over your heels. Give yourself a rest here. Well done. That was really good. So we're just going to get some movement through our wrists. Roll around both ways. Before we go into our final tabletop, we're going to add in a leg raise and a salute. So we're just stepping up from that tabletop two ever so slightly. So if you've been with me for a while, hopefully you'll be able to do tabletop two in your sleep. So this time it is going to be just adding on ever so slightly. So 4-point kneeling once again. We inhale to slide, exhale to float, and then I'd like you to bring your fingers to your forehead as you bend the opposite knee, okay? Gaze going down towards the floor. Do your best to keep your balance. Extend back. Fingers and toes coming down. Sliding back in, okay? Going on the other side. Slide and float. Knee bend, salute. Extend, down, and return. So we're adding in that position, which means you're really having to balance whilst your limbs are moving. You're also trying to coordinate that as well. So slide on the inhale. Well, I can't speak. Inhale. Exhale to float. Then salute. Leg bend. Extend. Back. And through. Slide. Float up. Back. Down. And through. Good. 2 more times to each side. Keep the back of your neck long. Try not to let yourself sink down between your shoulders. And our final one, sliding up. Salute. Back, down, and return. Bottom back over your heels. Roll your wrist around once again. And have a bit of a rest. Now remember, you don't have to do every exercise. You can feel free to sit down and rest at any point. But we're going to do one more. We're going to do our dynamic side twist prep, which is where they're going to go in that raise. And I'm going to show you some options so you can tailor the exercise to suit you. First one in that 4-point kneeling. Sliding one leg away on the inhale. Exhale. Remember, we rotate to the side. Take our hips up. Extend that top hand. Look towards the ceiling. Shoulders stacked. Pressing the mat away from you. Circling back. And return. Then going on the other side. Sliding. And pressing the mat away, finger going up towards the ceiling, coming back down, and return. So this one, fantastic for coordination. Work on your alignment as well. Shoulder strength and balance. Did I say that already? And our last one, sliding and float. Again, you might find that one side is slightly easier than the other, and that's normal. If you want to step it up a notch, we're going to add in that leg lift. So we slide We float the arm up and we float that leg up to hip height as well. Circling down and return. So just have fun with this exercise. It's really fantastic for your strength and balance. And because it's fun, it doesn't really feel like you're working because you're having a laugh. So sliding, bring the arm up and float that leg up. Keep both sides of your waist long. Feel how your glutes and your legs work. And again, slide and lift. Back down and through. You're lifting that long lever with your knee joint, with your hip even. So super strengthening for your pelvic girdle. And back. Okay, we have one final variation. 4-point kneeling to start. Slide, lift, and then as you bring the arm up and that leg up, you can take your arm by your ear. And you can pulse there a few times, breathing out and in. Out and in. Circle back through and return. We're going to go on the other side. Final one in this position. Leg slide away. Circling up. Out. I forgot the arm. And in. Keep your hips stacked one on top of the other. Keep your chest open. Shoulder up to the ceiling. Circling back through. We're going to sit our bottoms back over our heels and come into that gorgeous rest position. I'm going to spend a few seconds breathing here, so you can choose your position. If this isn't comfortable, come onto your side. You can rest your head on your hands or reach your arms out in front of you and bring your forehead down onto the floor. And if you want an inner thigh stretch as well, take your knees far apart and reach forward. So we're just going to rest here, breathing in and out. Good. And pressing back up and through. I'm going to come onto sitting. So coming through to sitting with your feet in front of you. And if you want to, you can have your band ready for a bit of support here. So band going around your feet, nice and wide, toes up towards the ceiling. Weight even through both your sitting bones. And try and find that lovely, really strong sitting position. So you're not tucking back through your spine. You're sitting nice and tall, shoulders melting down, piece of thread going through the crown towards the ceiling. We're going to go into our pelvic rock back using the band for some support today. So we're going to float back with our spine and then open our hips, rocking back. Gaze going forward, breastbone going forward, sitting nice and tall. So we keep our shoulders over our hips as we curl back. Hinge back. Use the band for support. Shoulders down, breastbone going forward. Sitting nice and tall. Good, let's go again. Hinging. Hinging back. So the band is just going to help you turn off your hip flexors ever so slightly. So I know some of you will really enjoy not having to grip through your quads. Going again. If you want more of a challenge, we're going to get rid of that band and just hinge back. Breastbone going forward, sitting nice and tall. 2 more like this. Hinge back. Breastbone going forward and up, and 1 more, hinging and opening. Breastbone going forward and up. Okay, so now we're going to add in a leg slide. So get rid of the band. We're going to sit again, nice and tall here, breathing out to hinge back, and then we're going to point through our toes, slide that leg away, bring it back in. I started my legs a little bit closer towards me, so bring back in. We're going to go 2 times. Try and bring your tummy button down and in. And our final one, sliding away, coming back, breastbone going forward, sitting nice and tall. Okay, so let's go again. This is fantastic for your coordination. As you slide that leg, you're really working your hips because your core muscles are helping you stay in that flexed position while still working to take your leg away. So there's a lot going on in there. Let's go again. Sitting nice and tall, hinging back, sliding and through. Sliding and through. 1 more time on each side. Sliding and through. Sliding and through. sitting nice and tall. Okay, 2 more like this. Rocking back and sliding and back in. Sliding back in. Remember to keep your shoulders away, keep your chin just tucked in so you've got a lovely flexed spine. Coming up, and our last one, rolling back and slide. One leg at a time. Sliding away and up. Bring your feet together and just rest forward before we try our next position. Remember, if you find that this is really hard on your tailbone, you can use your shallow cushion for support, and that can just help give you a little bit of extra padding there. So a final one, we're going to go into that double leg slide. So sitting tall again, rocking back. Actually, no, I started that wrong. So glue your knees and feet together, sitting tall, rocking back, and then keeping this spinal position as you slide your legs away, fully lengthening your legs, bring them back through. Sliding away, bringing them back through, coming up. Okay, we're going to try that 2 more times. So breathing in again, breathing out to rock. Slide your legs away, keep them glued together. Point through your toes if you can and fully extend your legs. Bring your feet back. Keep your spine position strong as you slide, coming back and through and up. And our final one, rocking back, slide and return. Shoulders remain away from ears. Keep your spine in this flexed position. Sitting nice and tall, and just pause here. Feet come together. Give yourself a rest and just rock out through your inner thighs. So just sitting from side to side to give yourself a rest here. And we have got 1 more in that pelvic rock back. Remember, you can have a rest here if you want to, but otherwise we're going to go into an extension, a knee fold and extension, sorry. So arms in front of you, breathing in, breathing out to rock back. This time we're going to pick one knee up, bring it all the way up. Pick the other leg up, keep the same angle between your knees, and you're keeping your tummy muscles engaged as you float your legs up one at a time. And sit nice and tall. Okay, so remember, you don't need to do this option. If you want to, you can just stick with that single leg slide. Otherwise, let's go again. Rolling back, up and down, up and down. Keep those tummy muscles coming in, up and down. Final one, up and down and coming up. We have 1 more repetition to go. So coming down, up and down. Use your glute muscles. Try not to move your spine forward as you bring your legs up. So you're really using your hips and your glutes here. Coming all the way up and resting here. And we're going to come back onto our backs to go into our relaxation position. So get your cushion ready for where your head is going to be. And then bring yourself back down onto the floor and lengthen yourself into your relaxation position, but make sure you have your weights handy. So setting yourself up with your knees and feet hip distance apart, head supported by your little cushion, finding your neutral spine and pelvis, tucking your shoulders under and floating your arms up with your weights or your water bottles that are directly over your shoulders. Little bend of your arms here. We're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, let's open our arms to the side. Inhale to close. Exhale to open. Inhale to close. So we're doing a relaxation position with something called a fly. And again, nice and slowly, your arms are going out at 90 degrees to your body. And we're going to do 12 of these today. So nice and slowly. So remember, light weights are still going to help build up the strength because you're doing it in multiple reps. So whereas you might have heavier weights and do fewer reps, you can do lighter weights and more repetitions. Good. Keep your gazing up towards the floor. Feel that strength through your shoulders and arms. Keep that little bend in your elbow. Breathing out, 2 muscles coming in. Make sure you're not letting your back arch away from the floor. Last one. Actually, no, 2 more, I think. I've lost count. Breathing out and in. And 1 more. Out and in. Good. Float your arms down. Place your weights down by your sides. Take your arms back. And we're going to go into a starfish. I'm going to start with a slower starfish and then build up the speed because that's going to build up the intensity. So remember, in our starfish, As we slide one leg away in line with our hip, we float the other arm up and back over our shoulders, keeping our toe muscles coming down, reaching through your fingers. So we breathe in and we breathe out to slide and reach, reaching through your fingers and your toes, drawing back in. Breathing out to slide, toe muscles coming in and back in. Breathing out and in. Breathing out, good. Fingers and toes reaching away from you, coming back. Sliding away and back in, good. And again. So really lovely alignment here. You can feel the opposition between your fingers and your toes, so it really stretches the length of your body. And 2 more before we go at double speed. So this one, we've been coming back in and pausing ever so slightly before we take the opposite arm and leg away. This time we're going to do it simultaneously. So we're going to start by breathing out and slightly. So it requires a lot of core strength. We're going to try and keep our core really strong, not arching away, but because you can't rely on the strength of your arm and your foot on the floor, you're really using your torso. So you might feel, even here, how much I'm using my core muscles. Breathing out and in. Don't forget to breathe, okay? So opposite arm, opposite leg moving away from you. And again, 1 more to each side. And come back through to your neutral position. Bring your knees in towards you and give yourself a rock from side to side. Super. Let's place our feet back down. Get rid of your cushion and place your hands there instead. Clasping your hands, taking your elbows up to the ceiling so your head is in a basket, really heavy. So breathing in here, breathing out, keep your head heavy, nod your chin in, roll all the way up, gaze go between your knees, lengthening down. Breathing out, toe muscles coming in and down. So as you roll up, imagine that your rib cage is coming together and sliding down towards your hips. So it's like this corset is coming down, and that's going to give you more space to come into curl up. So nice and tall, breathing in, breathing out. And again. Super. Let's go 3 more times. Head is heavy in your hands. Head is supported. Shoulders are away from your ears. Good. We've got 2 more to go. Breathing out. And in. And out. And in. Good. Resting here. We're going to go into a curl up and a single knee fold. So this time we're coordinating that curl up with bringing that knee in. So make sure that your feet are far enough away from you. They're still hip distance apart. Neutral spine and pelvis. Gaze going towards the ceiling with your head and your hands. Breathing in here. Breathing out. Coming up. And in to come down. So imagine that squeeze through your core, but you're keeping both sides of your waist long. And controlling that descent of that curl up as well. So really controlling. You're not just collapsing down onto the floor. Toe muscles coming in again. And down. Good. And 1 more time on each side. Coming in and down. And our final one. All the way up and down and rest here. Awesome. Okay. So cushion back underneath your head. Feet hip distance apart once again, floating your arms up in the air. We're going to go into a lovely spine curl with a knee fold now. So if you want to stick to your normal spine curl, it's going to be great for mobilizing your spine and also activating your glutes. But adding that knee fold is just going to add in that extra layer of challenge. So arms up to the ceiling, breathing in, breathing out. Imprint your lumbar spine, engage your glutes, lift your spine up in the air, hips nice and high. Drive down through one foot and float one knee up. Lengthen down, keeping your hips high. Breathing out, bring the other leg up. And down, and then lengthen back down one bone at a time. I'm going to go again. So really lovely to mobilize your spine. Finishing nice and strong, hips high. Grounding through one foot and floating the other up. Keep those toe muscles engaged. If you lose that engagement, you're going to lose that spinal support. And lengthen back down. Super. We have 2 more to go. Breathing in and breathing out. Rolling back. Remember, you can just stick with this spine curl, or you can take your arms down to give yourself a little bit more support as you go into that double knee fold, single knee fold. If you could do a double knee fold here, I'd be super impressed. And our final one, rolling back. All the way up. Floating in and down. Floating in and down. Lengthen back down. And we've got one final spine curl on each side, just to give ourselves a little bit of a glute stretch. I'd like to float one leg up. Cross your ankles over the other leg. Breathing in, breathing out, lifting all the way up. Feel that openness through the front of your hip and your glutes. And down. Good. Going again. Lifting all the way up, opening out through the front of your hip. And lengthening down. Swap your legs over and going again. Rolling all the way up, hips high. And down. So this is a pretzel spine curl. Lifting all the way up, so you're lengthening up, keeping that strength down through one leg, lengthening down, taking that leg away, reaching your feet away from you, taking your arms up and back, lengthening through, giving yourself a lovely stretch here. Let your back arch if that feels good, breathing in. And then we're going to come up to sitting, so you can either just roll onto your sides or you can reach your arms forward, toe muscles coming down and in as you roll all the way up. And then sit however suits you in a lovely cross-leg position, or you can have your feet together. We're going to breathe in here, breathe out, reach your arms all the way up and press the air away. And we've got one more to go, all the way up and press the air away. And give yourself a nice clap. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've really enjoyed your bank holiday Pilates and that you have a great rest of bank holiday. Looking forward to seeing you soon and take care. Bye-bye.